help you and assist you to make a table reservation. And this is, of course, a quite interesting business model, since if you charge the consumer for the call and you get a commission from the restaurant via live bookings, you have increased your revenues. So, in summary, to convert existing traffic into additional incremental revenue, it's a very easy process. The simplest step is just to take a link and put that on your search page or on the landing page of the restaurant property. And we have an automated way of doing this. So it's basically no work for the directory company. It becomes an incremental revenue from day one. By adding more functionality, such as a restaurant guide or a restaurant search guide, where you can search for more than only the names, you can add additional information in your search. You will create a much better user experience. You will create a viral effect of guests or restaurant goers inviting other restaurant goers to go back to your site. And this will generate, of course, more traffic and, in the end, more revenue. By using services like online, not only for restaurants, but in all verticals, you can also start to provide your listed companies more data, which enables them to understand the value that you can bring, since the transparency of the internet is going to give them the ability to measure one company's performance against another company's performance. And with solutions like Google AdWords, small businesses like restaurants are going to start to evaluate each pound or euro they spend on marketing. Last but not least, we think that you are in a fantastic position to use your existing resources for more revenue generation by using a lead generation function. And this could be in various ways. It could either be towards the consumer using your services, but it could also be towards your clients selling additional services. And we have some really good examples of that from a live bookings perspective, where we have used directory partners to recruit more restaurants into our network, paying our partners a fee for lead generation. But we also great examples of restaurants willing to pay additional fees to use a directory company to build up their guest database. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If there are questions from the room, raise your hand. A microphone will be brought to you. I have received a couple of questions through email. You know that you can email your questions also, not only in English, but in German, French, and Dutch as well. I have a first question. How do we know that the customers who book through online booking services wouldn't have booked the restaurant anyway? Do you have statistics demonstrating that these are actually new customers?
Yes, we do. And not only that, we also have statistical proof that a guest that books online has a much lower no-show rate. The advantage for a restaurant to have somebody to book online is that you can confirm or speak with the restaurant goer when you have the time. So instead of answering the phone when you have guests in the restaurant, you can actually proactively call the guest ahead of the visit to make sure that you can fulfill their wishes. One example, if I take one example from London, there's a restaurant called Galvin at Windows. They have increased their revenue because of their online booking system. They put a method in place where all bookings done online are fulfilled by themselves. So they actually call the consumer 1 or 2 days ahead of the visit, asking them if they wouldn't like a glass of champagne, or if they wouldn't like to start their dinner with something different. And that has increased their sales. Another example is the Ritz, where you can book tea. And they currently drive all their bookings through the online. And they have been able to sell additional services and goods like a carrot cake because of this. So there's a lot of good proof that online avoids extra work and increases revenue.
Thanks. That was a question from Chris Scavige. I have another one from Christer Pettersson. Will you go into new areas for booking, not only restaurants, but also hotels, events, etc.?
The answer is not in the form of live bookings. We might license our technology to other businesses, but we firmly believe that this market is so huge that we need to conquer the restaurant vertical alone. I'm a great believer in trying to be best at one thing. The technology, however, could be licensed and used for other things, but it will not be driven by live bookings.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then a final one from Sébastien Provencher. It seems live bookings is very similar to OpenTable in the US company. They recently did an IPO. I'd be curious, he writes, to get his comments on the OpenTable IPO and if he thinks that OpenTable will be a serious competitor to you.
We think the OpenTable IPO was fantastic. They were valued $700 million on Friday. That was their market cap. As live bookings, we're very happy about that, since we are size-wise about the same as OpenTable with the number of clients. Our businesses, however, are very different. OpenTable are building their own online consumer front, OpenTable.com, and we work through partners. OpenTable also has one single solution towards the restaurants. You have to install a hardware-software solution that it's a one package only. Instead, live bookings allows the restaurants to join with various packages, which makes our target market much bigger. We think that OpenTable might be a 50,000 client company, while we could be a 500,000 client company. So there's some differences in our business model. With regards to OpenTable being a serious competitor, we hope so, because it's much easier to build a market if you're several companies out there. So we definitely hope that they're going to be a serious competitor. So far in Europe, we haven't seen really a lot of their competition yet.
Okay, then thanks again, Niklas Eklund.
Thank you.